Hello.
Hello. All right,
What's up?
yeah, your volume's perfect. How
Oh,
are you
nice.
doing?
What?
How are you doing?
Oh, nice, nice. I'm just a bit nervous.
Yeah? Yeah, no, don't be nervous. It's totally
Uh,
fine.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. I hope you
Dude,
can hear me clearly.
yep, everything is good. We'll see
Nice.
if the stream starts saying it's too quiet though. I'll turn it up for you so that you're already pretty balanced as far as I can tell.
Can you do me a favor though? Can you screen share for me because it's like yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's do that. There we go. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Whew.
Oh, nice. Don't forget your Prince HD metal sale. Oh my gosh. Uh, let's see here. Okay, so would you like to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about like where you're at with 3D and all that jazz?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Hasbi. I'm from Indonesia. I'm environment student, environment artist student. Oh my god. Uh, and I'm currently studying media, studying my master's study in media in Hamburg, Germany.
Nice.
Good.
How long have you been doing 3D?
STEM. Yeah. I've been doing this at since 2016 or 2017, I
Mm,
think. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's all I can say.
nice,
Um,
dude. Yeah, I was just
sure.
immediately looking at your portfolio. This the totem.
Yeah, you already saw it before, and
Yeah, I'm like, dude, this turned out really nice.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not sure about this though because it's a bit like mix from stylized to realistic, and I'm not sure where I go from there. So
Mm.
yeah,
Are you like are you trying to decide if you want to be stylized or if you want to be
no, I've already decided I want to be a realistic. I'm
yeah,
more
all
than
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Cool. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing stylized stuff while wanting to
yeah.
be
Of course,
realistic.
of course, of course. But yeah, that's what I decided right away. I want to be more into realistic stuff. So yeah, that's
Oh,
that.
dude. This challenge is cool. The Beneath the Waves challenge.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Um,
But
yeah,
yeah, let's see
but what?
here.
I
Yeah,
want, I want to hear your
yeah.
but what? Okay,
So,
we can start.
yeah, so like right out the door,
Hmm.
I can tell that you're an environment artist. Like just looking at the thumbnails, like that's what you want to be doing. Um, you have a material in here which I think is fine as long as it's executed pretty well, and this looks pretty good. It can always be better, right? And I think
Yeah, yeah,
pushing the quality uh, is is always important. But at the same time, if you're wanting to be an environment artist, I think the goal with this material is to really just let people know that you're aware of substance designer and you know how it works.
of
Um,
course.
the thing I think that sticks out the most for me is the roughness. Uh, the way that the roughness is authored doesn't really read like roughness to me, because like the edges for the stone are quite reflective. Maybe it's like that in the reference. Um,
Yeah, I think I just for this piece I followed the tutorial actually, and
right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Ah, okay. I see. Well, this is 3 years ago as well.
yeah, it's a bit old. Sorry about that.
No, don't worry about it. I mean, I think it was Josh himself that said that you should leave something old on your portfolio as well, so people can see where you've gone, where you've come from. But dude, looking at this is nice to see like the attention to detail that you're wanting to push. This is 2 years ago as well. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna dig through here a little bit. This gun is, dang, dude, that weld. That person needs to learn how to weld. That's
Yeah. Well,
uh,
he's in trainee, so you have to
yeah,
forgive him.
yeah. No, this is pretty cool. I think the thing with this weapon is making sure that the color choice for the albedos kind of come together, and there is a lot of differences that are coming through.
Yeah.
Where you have like the red and the blue tape and then the yellow front. Um, ah, oh, that's a nice attention to detail. Thinking about like where the fingers rest on the
Yeah.
tape. Um, is this showing for you okay in the Discord, by the way?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's a bit blurry at the first, but when yeah, now it's great.
Okay, cool. It's crazy that I'm able to even stream at the same time. um, no, but I'm looking at all of this stuff and I'm like, yeah, this is all pretty good. I think where I'm seeing a weakness the most is maybe in the understanding of the materials. Um, let me see if we were looking at this one. The underwater ones get really weird, right? Because if you think about roughness, everything's wet, but it's all underwater at the same time. So like, what does that roughness look like? Um, so really getting the materials to read as the material type is really important. And I think, I mean, overall, this scene is pretty strong. There are some. I mean, it's I guess it's a bit stylized in the fact that there's like that distance fog. Oh
Yeah, yeah.
dang, this stuff's cool.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, with the distance fog being quite emissive, it
Uh,
becomes more ethereal, I guess.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's kind of okay with the statue in the middle. Um,
Uh,
the statue, I would say, is probably the weakest part of it.
huh?
Uh, just because I think of because of the crown.
Mm-hmm.
Is the idea that the crown on his head is that like supposed to not be affected by?
I'm not sure. This was 3 years ago, so
Yeah, yeah, it
yeah,
is. It is
I
a while
just throw it
ago.
because it's like it look cool, and I
Yeah,
don't think so that much. So the material things, maybe it's a bit weak in this part on this or in this side. So
I mean
uh,
the ground area looks pretty good. It's just the like there's the finer detail stuff. Like this shot is really strong, and I think with the thumbnail is not showing enough of it, so you don't
yeah,
really know what you're gonna go to. If that makes sense, like you're not sure what the image is gonna be.
yeah, yeah. I choose these thumbnails because it's the most it is reflective to the reference. The reference is not like
Ah,
that.
is it in
If you
here?
like, it's in the description. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I'm gonna click on it.
Maybe I'm sorry, I'm not
I'm
sure.
scared. I'm scared
Okay,
now. Oh yeah, it should be at the
the,
very end, right?
no, it's in the description at the no before and
Oh yeah,
you
and I
go
go to the very top.
to the
This
top and
one.
there's got yeah this one.
Okay, I get it now. Oh right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope I can take that as a screenshot and use it as my as my thumbnails, but I think it's not really uh, communicative if you
Yeah.
would say
You
that.
you want it to be like yeah,
Like
it's
a
really
reference or something like that, but I think it's not a good decision. I
well.
mean,
It's just I think it's actually it's either more lit or like the thumbnail is not like it's really dark around the outside edges, and I think in the concept it's much lighter. Like you can still see
okay.
information in the shadows, and I think in your
Mm,
shadows they're quite dark.
I see.
Um, there's still some information there, but it could be a little bit brighter, and it would probably
I
do
see
the
what you
trick.
mean.
Like you can see how bright it is here.
Yeah,
Like that's already enough, and it can still be considered dark, right?
uh, uh-huh.
Um, but dude, overall, it's a pretty good accomplishment with all the fish and stuff too. Are those like hand placed, or did you use like a particle to?
No, it's not particle. I just make many fishes in the in as a was one messes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just place it everywhere.
Nice. So
Um,
you kind of place it like a floating cluster of
yeah,
assets,
yeah,
right?
yeah, something like that. Yeah, because I don't want to animate it either. So
Yeah. Yeah, there are ways to do that, but I haven't even tried to dive into that. I don't know. I'm sure it's not too
Uh,
difficult. Who knows?
oh, you mean like doing it like particle effect something?
Yeah, maybe like because I mean this is
Ah,
3 years old, but now you could probably use their new
yeah,
particle engine to
I
do the
know.
same thing,
Yeah,
right?
I know how to do that. So
So we've got so this one's 5 months ago.
yeah,
Uh, Dang, this seems kind of creepy.
it's for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right before Halloween, and it seems people like it. So yeah, I'm pretty.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was for the polycount challenge. Oh,
yeah.
I
I
see. I
I
see.
I,
Yeah, yeah.
I did a lot of them. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So when I'm looking at this one's more recent, right? This is 5 months ago. The
Yes.
I would say the thing that is really sticking out to me now is it is the materials, like understanding the type of surface that you're trying to portray, as well as like if you want to go for realistic, I wouldn't try and like the blood looks quite stylized, and I guess what was the goal to be realistic with this, or is this a stylized project?
I want to be realistic. If yeah, I
Okay.
want to be realistic. I think yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so the things I would look into is first the material definition. And I guess it goes the same for the blood as the same kind of
Yeah.
scenario
Yeah.
where the I think this blood was maybe made in Substance Designer.
Yes, it's
Yeah. Okay.
decals in Medicine Substance Designer.
Okay. Cuz like a lot of the times there's some crazy stuff I've been seeing. I think it was Jay Cummings was doing it where you could maybe get like some ink or build a concoction of a material that's quite dark and
Mm.
splatter it on surfaces and then screenshot those. And then in Photoshop, clean them up and get them the way you want them to look. He's working on a consistency for the material so that it
Looks.
drips and moves a lot like blood.
Oh.
It's the J soy sauce Cummings. Reading chat. So that's one approach for that kind of splashed material stuff. Um, Things like blood and whatnot. And then there's other definitions like understanding your scale, um, and knowing where this like explaining the space itself and understanding how it's put together. So like a lot of these cables are very uh, like a wide curve, and watching out for how wide that is can it's like a cable's not going to rest like that if you look at,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially if you
I
go
can
really
imagine.
stylized with it. Let me see if I can, where's my, that's right here. Exile says in textures.com they have some pretty good splatter textures as well, which is cool.
Nice. Nice.
um oh yeah, that's not gonna show, hang on here. So right now you have this curve. Oh man, that's not gonna show either. What am I gonna do? Let me find a color that kind of works. Maybe if I go really fat with the, so like right now you have a curve like this, right? And I think
Yeah.
if you were to have it go behind things, like maybe they tried to tuck it around stuff and
Mm.
then
I
it
see.
goes through and around. You get a little bit more like, obviously you don't want like this angular look, but
Uh,
getting more of like a path to it, like overlapping and cables going under each other. And
yeah.
yeah, I think you get the idea. The cables
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
out of the top are really nice. Like these are super cool. And I like this where like it's two connection points and then you see the wires on the inside. I think that's really nice. Um but it is about like if we're looking at the materials, this area stands out to me. I don't know what the stuff is on the top. Like I guess it's like a dirt or a mud or maybe a rust.
It's
Um
supposed to be rust, but
yeah, okay. Because like I think what's making it look like mud, because up here it looks like rust. I think down here it looks more
it's
like mud just because of the color.
rust. Hmm. Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then there's it's really busy on the eyes, right? So like you have all of these jars as a backdrop, which I think is super cool. I think that's actually a really nice detail and touch to the scene. If the if that's going to be so high, excuse me, if that's going to be so high frequency, you're going to want to watch out for like how much detail is coming through. So
I see.
like if this is let's see here, if this is really high frequency, then and this is high frequency, this is pretty high frequency as well, and
The
let's
others
just
should be not like
right, yeah,
this,
you
not
need
be
to
too
lower
noisy.
it, right? And it could be a combination of contrast, it could be a combination of let's see here. So it could be contrast, or it could be a combination of things like uh contrast and or um
Color,
saturation. Yeah.
saturation. Yeah,
Yeah, because like right now the ground is very, it's got this pattern going on it, right? And you could solve that by actually just making the cracks between these, like the grout, just half as dark. And that would
I
immediately
see.
make the ground much easier on the eyes,
Yeah,
which will make these like the scattered litter stuff pop out more.
I see.
And if that happens and it's still too busy, then it's more about thinking about where that stuff scatters. Does it scatter
Yeah,
around the boxes and
yeah,
you keep
yeah,
it more localized? Yeah,
yeah.
you get I think you get the point.
Of
Um,
course. Thank you.
yeah, but like
Nice,
this
nice.
shot is super cool, and I think the only downside with this one is I don't have a sense of like how close things are.
I see.
Like I can tell now when I sit there and look at the perspective and stuff is like knowing
Yeah,
how close things are and getting separation between them is huge.
maybe like a fog or something, or like a yeah.
It could be
Uh,
a fog. The distance between these is so subtle
mhm.
uh, that I think it might be. Where are those ones? These guys.
I think it's in the left side from the
So
yeah,
is it's over here? Is it
from
maybe like
over there.
off?
The camera is over there. Yeah,
Yeah, so
of
it's
the
off shot there. Okay.
yeah.
Because if that's the case, I mean, a lot of the times pulling back on the lighting is gonna be what like makes the scene pop. So like imagine if all the lighting was focused on the centerpiece here, and then
Uh,
the it becomes darker as it goes away from that.
yeah,
Immediately because of that, now you start getting these like silhouettes, and then you understand where the focal point is
of course.
um, in the
And
scene.
and and the backgrounds also will be darker, and also we get the yeah. I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
yeah. Just kind of scrolling through the stuff on the inside is really cool.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Just keep going through the differences in colors of the lids. Like there's some the details that are the details that are on the edge, like this area. Um, be careful with like how much you wear a material down because it starts to wear down to look more like stone. So I'm not sure actually if this. I assume these are supposed to be plastic lids, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be plastic actually.
Okay. Because like understanding how plastic wears down is probably more about the roughness than the like the normal information and
Then or the color or something.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, and if it's all coming from the same company, they're probably going to be like one or two colors. But I think it all depends. Like if you were looking at reference that gave you that type of variety, and maybe it was just because of the theme as well, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah. It's greeny something. I don't know.
yeah. See, and the other thing though is the colors don't really stick out too much. Everything's pretty unified, but it is coming off very stylized, and I think a lot of that has to do with the scale of the tiles on the ground, and then
Hmm.
just the way the blood is. The blood immediately makes me think that it was intentionally
Yeah,
stylized.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, let's keep looking through the because like this the totem scene, dude. I'm super happy with how this turned out, and then
Nice.
there's certain things that stick out that if they were solved would fix a lot of stuff.
Okay,
Um, let's see here. So we've got the two stone colors,
okay.
which is kind of interesting. I think it's actually if it was more along the lines of the darker one, that would
Yeah.
that would do a lot. Like it would kind of unify, or well,
In
it
between
unifies with the
something.
ground more,
Uh-huh.
but then it's the stone separates from the totem, which is I would assume is probably the same material, right?
Yeah, it's the same actually.
So I would probably match to this. So the
Three
darker
totems.
ones bring those up to like this value,
Hmm.
and yeah, and then the only other thing is I honestly I think your foliage is looking pretty good.
Oh,
There is
really?
some, yeah, there
Nice.
is some issues where like the blades are
Too
too close.
too close. All right.
Yeah, so they end up like you're familiar with mipping.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So like as it mips down, the alpha between the blades is going to get smaller, and eventually all of the blades melt together. So like as your grass gets further away, it becomes more solid.
Ah, got it. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So like it's actually better to have less blades in the texture and use more
I see.
geometry to layer in more grass blades than it
I
is
see.
to try and put more grass in the texture itself. Um,
Ah, okay.
so if you did that, I think that would push it a little bit further. There there's so much nice going on like around like this area is super
Uh,
nice. And there's like such an attention to detail where like you're adding foliage in just what feels like the right spots, and the stone is just it's compositionally you can see that you've been kind of thinking about where this all lays out. And I think the biggest weakness for this scene is that you're trying to show a giant scene. Like
mm,
it could be just this, and maybe like another angle, maybe lower, or showing just the area around it.
mm,
And the fact that you're trying to support showing a giant scene uh, forced you to try and figure out this giant environment, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, oh yeah, see these are pretty cool. Yeah, the blades are really like I can't tell what type of plant this one is.
yeah. It's supposed to be grass or like
Yeah,
high grass something.
yeah. If it's
uh,
so, I think if it's high grass, it's still gonna be clumped a lot like grass, right?
mm, mm,
Whereas these ones look like more like a fern esque with the
yeah.
weight that's kind of pulling them to the sides. Oh yeah, this is super nice as well. Um, yeah, I think it would have been better. Like Exile in chat saying a diorama would fit this really nicely. Because you could even take, I mean, if we took this image and brought it in here, you could just literally push the background back, and that would be enough. I think, anyways. Let's see if I can even. I'll just do a really quick
Of
uh,
course.
lasso of this. It won't be perfect or anything. And then I'll do this one.
So like doing a diorama without the background or without the plane or
Yeah, I think a diorama would be amazing for something like this. I'm
uh
just gonna put a mask on that, and then we're gonna invert the mask, and then delete that. And let's grab this whole image, and just like let's assume that it's. I'm gonna have to invert that actually. Thinking about this backwards, and like you see how like pushing that the detail back that's behind it is just gonna work for bringing the image forward.
ah
Let's see here. We'll just do that so it's not so obvious
yeah.
um, that I did a really poor job of masking that out. Uh,
It's quite all right. This is really great. I think
but
you bring the great point of that.
yeah, I mean, you could even push more of that theme of like this kind of like Temple of Doom vibe, or maybe there's like fog and stuff that's in the background, or like low ground fog,
Yeah, actually,
or clouds.
there's a fog already, but it's not that really.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
just turn it up.
you just throw it up, right?
Yeah, because like the rocks in this shot look pretty good, but then the rocks like where is it at? There's rocks where the
There
ambient
is.
brightness is so dark that they just have
Uh,
like a dark back to them. And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's just is this real time lighting?
It's real time. It's in
Okay.
CryEngine.
Okay, because I think wow, it's in CryEngine. That's crazy. That's so
Yeah,
cool. That's so
yeah,
cool, man. It's
yeah.
cool just because you don't see that often.
Ah, I want to learn CryEngine this time. That's
Mm.
why I try to pull it off in CryEngine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of bringing up the ambient brightness so that the areas that are in full shadow aren't so dark. I'm not sure why these are so dark when the ambient areas and other areas are brighter. but just something
Yeah.
to keep in mind that the darker side, you want to make sure it unifies with the rest of the scene. Like these guys are okay, and so
Mhm.
is this one actually. It's just these guys are super dark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
But no, this is nice, man. Do you have any
Yeah.
questions?
No, I just want to know what's my biggest weakness in my portfolio is, but we can talk about it later.
Mm.
After finish this one.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one, and again, I think it is just the materials. Maybe the wings on this are on this like electronic hummingbird do with multiple eyes. That's terrifying. Uh, I'm getting some like Matrix vibes from this.
Yeah, yeah.
But the if the wings were just maybe about, I don't know, 5% larger, 10% larger, like it
Okay,
just would
cool.
feel a little bit more.
Yeah,
Or if the
yeah.
wings were just blurred, like you could model this bird and then not model the wings and maybe just model like
What else like
model this
the
part,
uh-huh.
and then
And then blur
this in
the other.
Photoshop you can just make that just look like a blur.
Yeah.
But I mean, this one's also pretty cool because you're really focusing on the hummingbird. There's
Yeah.
details that are up close, like this fern type plant or whatever plant
Uh,
this is, and then this wall piece here that
yeah.
would probably benefit just being in shadow and then really like not in focus at all, because then all of this really comes forward.
Of course, of course.
Like for this shot, for example, it's very clear what you're focusing on because the background is so dark by comparison of the hummingbird. The plant, the flowers themselves feel like they're missing, like maybe the albedo is too bright, like the
Ah,
white value is maybe too bright, so it's going outside of that range, the PBR range. And
uh,
I think if there was just a little bit, even if it was maybe it was an ambient occlusion that you put in here, but like getting the darkness inside of the flower itself, that way
mhm.
you just have a better understanding of the three-dimensional shape of it.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
um and then if we look at the thumbnails, I think how would I how would I word this? So the hummingbird one is all right. It's just more about like working on the content inside of it before framing this. The totem one looks great to me. Like I actually think it's 2D. So maybe
Oh,
if you had more of a, just tilting the angle just slightly will
I see.
let us know it's 3D. Because it actually, yeah, it kind of looks like a concept. Um,
Yeah, I just have this tendency when I create my thumbnails,
mm,
I would like it to be like a concept, like the reference. So maybe
right,
I
because
should.
that was the goal, right? You were trying to
Yeah, just the
recreate the
goal.
concept that you were
Yes,
building.
yes, 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 yes.
Um,
So
this
yeah.
one, so this one's pretty good, and it's just more about like if you could get the lighting to be more focused on the center point and then maybe a little bit on this edge, this concept or thumbnail, sorry, this thumbnail would look really nice. And it's very rare that you have a thumbnail that shows so much information and they but can work. But I think in the way that you've laid this all out, it works really well if you can just get the focus to be in the middle here.
Thanks.
Um, this one just needs the camera needs to be closer, and maybe the shadows don't need to be as dark. You might be
Yeah,
able to do that in Photoshop for the thumbnail at least.
yeah.
Um, yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, I want to ask the last environment when I finish. I plan to do my next environment for the hummingbird because
Yeah,
the environment in hummingbird is in the megascans. I want to do the environment of it, and when I upload it, then I will ask the beneath the waves. I think
right.
because it's too old and it's already 3 years ago. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, when you act it, you can just hide it, right? You
yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
to.
I don't have to delete it anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't delete it. That's horrible. But so for this thumbnail, I feel like maybe bringing the camera either closer to the rock work, or like really understanding because it's just right now shape wise, it's just really hard to read. Like it's
Of
hard
course.
to tell like that goes into a like an entry or
Hmm.
there's like a cave entrance or that you can pass through it. Um, so there's you got a bit of a tangent on the side here where the rock just kind of ends there.
Oh, right, the tangents.
Yeah,
Right.
so if you just zoom out just a little bit more, or like really zoom in and focus on a spot, that would
Of
help
course,
a lot for that thumbnail. Then these
of
two
course.
guys,
Hmm.
I know they're older, but just getting them a little bit away from the edge of the thumbnail will help you because they're really
Okay,
close to the edge.
okay, okay.
Um, and whenever you
That's
have like a similar background, like these are both kind of dark backgrounds, I wouldn't even have like that gradient that's in the back of this one
ah, I
because
see.
then you can just then they'll lock in together, right?
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, Exile is saying in chat, like if you can avoid pure black or pure white in the background, that would be really beneficial. So, I mean,
Maybe
it
I
could
would
be
just
the
take
just the
the
color of
background,
the art
the color of
station.
the background
Yeah,
station. I
yeah,
think that's
yeah,
what
that
I
totally
think about.
works.
Yeah. Cool, cool.
But yeah, is it what are you working on now?
Um, yeah, I was just thinking the concept for the hummingbird. I want just like a scene where I don't have it right now with the
Mm.
concept, but I would like a scene where in the kitchen or something, and just a small room, and not not really many things there, but I want to work on my material, like you said, my material works maybe is too weak, so
Yeah,
I want
just push on
to,
that more.
yeah, push on that materials, and yeah, and we'll see.
Awesome. Yeah, well,
Nice.
I guess I look forward to seeing your growth in your material work then.
Thank you.
Did you have any other questions before I jump over to the next?
Well, yeah or no, or maybe you just answered it. So I think, if I understand it right, I just need to work on my materials. You need, like what's my biggest
So
weaknesses, like.
yeah, so the biggest weakness is your PBR understanding, and then I would say the next one is just being able to tighten up the compositions, uh,
Of course,
so that you understand what you're focusing on, and you don't have pixels that are too dark, and the focal point is like you know what you're supposed to be looking at.
of
Um,
course.
but yeah, those are I would say those are the two things.
All
Cool.
right.
All right,
Nice.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good. Thanks for sharing your portfolio, and you did great. There's
Yeah.
no stress at all.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you later then.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, see ya.